I'm Lewis, aka London, and this is 10 things you can do to help sell your property. One of the most important things is curb appeal. Why is curb appeal so important? It's super important because this is the first thing the buyer sees when they pull up to a property. You need to make sure the roof is jet washed and you need to make sure that the driveway is jet washed also. Why? Because it gives a clean aesthetic feel the moment they turn up to the property. These are little things that you can do that take an afternoon that can help sell your property like that. Fresh paint on the outside can make a whole lot of difference. They can turn a 1950 or early 2000 property looking like a brand new 2020 build. Yes, paint can be expensive, but what people don't understand is you could invest $2,000 in some paint and your home is appreciated by $200,000. You could 100x your return on your property. If I told you there was a sports game where if you bet $2,000, you could win $200,000 and it might just take a few months, I think a lot of us would bet on that game. Minor decor like indoor paint, if the rooms are all orange, yellow, blue, not everyone's gonna like that. You might like it because it's your house, but now we're trying to sell it, we're trying to move it over to someone else. So minor paint, making the walls fresh white paint, this can make a bunch of difference because psychologically, it makes it like a clean slate. Whereas if you've got all these different colors, these different characters, you might get a buyer that really likes it, but the chances of finding that buyer compared to the new design of white, gray, black is very slim. So I would suggest fresh white paint in all the rooms. I know what you're thinking, that's a nice light. And light fixtures can make all the difference. If you've got a beaten up old fan, if you've got a beaten up light fixture, it doesn't even have to be a fan. In the bedrooms, in the dining room, in the living area where people go spend 90% of their time, these little things can make a difference. This from Home Depot might be 150 bucks. But like I said, invest 150 bucks in order to make a big return once you sell your property. I'm looking at this picture right now and it's a beautiful picture. But why can this hurt your house? Because not everyone is going to like your family pictures. Not everyone is going to want to see your daughter's graduation. If it's your home, I get it. You're proud of these moments. They're sentimental to you. But when you're trying to sell your house, you got to think about it psychologically. If someone sees a picture of your family, of someone else's family that they don't know, they automatically feel like they're in someone else's house. And why is this so important? Because when they come in, it's not a house that they could picture themselves in. It's a house that other people have lived in and they don't feel like it could be theirs. So removing as little things as family pictures can make a huge difference to selling your house and a huge mindset in the buyers themselves. It's a tricky subject sometimes to discuss with you as sellers, but in the long run, it can make a load of difference. Don't you hear it when you sit down in a restaurant or anywhere and the tables are sticky and you have to get the waitress or waiter to wipe the table for you and clean it up? That's exactly how people feel when you've got sticky worktops in your kitchen, sticky bathroom counters in your bathrooms and throughout your property. That's exactly how they feel, and that's why it's so important that before showings, we clean the entire house. Dirty laundry, throw it somewhere where it can't be seen, because the minute that they touch something sticky, they touch something that they don't anticipate from the jump, that can ruin their mindset, and instantly, this house is dirty, I wonder what other issues it could have. Because then at that point, it's not them appreciating the house, it's them thinking, what's wrong with this house? And then the whole point of viewing the house goes out the window. Minor repairs is something you can do in a house for under 20 bucks that make a huge difference. And let me explain. Moldy bathroom ceiling, you got creaky floorboards. These might take an afternoon, an hour to redo, to fix, and they'll make the aesthetic look super clean. Because if you have clean ceiling in a bathroom, it makes it look like the house was taken care of. If you don't have any floorboards that squeak, then it shows that you take care of your home. These are all important things to the owner because they don't want to buy a house thinking there could be hidden issues because the people that owned it before didn't take care of their home. And little things like this for under 20 bucks can make a huge difference. Now that could be a problem. Why could that be a problem? Because ACs, HVACs, these are all big ticket items that need to be worked. They're not in South Florida, in Miami specifically, they're not nice to haves. These are must haves. And these are the biggest thing on inspection that cause deals to fall apart or cause price reductions because people aren't willing to buy new ones because they didn't take care of them in the first place. Take care of your AC, take care of your HVAC. And then when inspection comes, you have nothing to worry about because it's all up to date. And then something that could have cost you 500 bucks to service might cost you $5,000 when you come to sell because the new buyer demands a new AC from you. No one wants this headache. Take care of your AC, take care of your HVAC, because at the end of the day, they're big ticket items and they'll improve your value of living while you're living there and for the next person. Now this next one is not technically something you can do, but it's something I can provide to you as your realtor. We got nice pots, we got nice books, we got perfectly laid out decor, and there's professionals that do this. And this is called the art of staging. Why staging is so important? Because if you have a vacant house, if you have a house with not much furniture in it, and it's a big ticket house, or it's just a house that you think could be really, really nice in a modern neighborhood, you want to give it that modern feel. Sometimes houses have outdated furniture and they didn't want to change their look to the new modern feel, which is so desirable in today's market. That's why staging is so important and so underrated. It can transform a vacant house in order to make it sellable, because sometimes people have trouble visualizing. When people have trouble visualizing, that's what can break a deal. That's what can get offers. That's what can get showings. Because if they walk into a place and they're like, wow, it feels like home, then that's great. But if they walk into a vacant, empty house, that can be when they're like, oh, I don't know where my table will go. I don't know where my chairs will go. Staging puts it on a plate for people. People don't like to work. People like things already in order, so they don't have to use their imagination. It's already fed to them. So that's exactly what staging does. It takes everything out of the equation and it says, this is what's meant to go here. This is what's meant to go here for it to look good. Now we're getting on to landscaping. I'm not saying go crazy and put a fountain in your backyard like this, but what I am saying is making sure the grass is cut, making sure the bushes are trimmed so that people know when the garden starts and ends and it doesn't go into your house. Because a lot of people have vegetation growing up into their balconies, growing up into their house, and it's just not a good look. You want it to be clean cut because, like I said again, it's curb appeal. Curb appeal, curb appeal, curb appeal. It's the biggest thing. If a house pulls up freshly painted, you got the bushes all trimmed, you might have a fountain, maybe, but if you do, make sure it's taken care of, make sure it's maintained, because then that way the people know, they get impressions straight away. Nothing's obstructing the view of the house as well. That's huge, because people love seeing their house. It's something they're proud of. It's the biggest purchase in most people's lives, and that's why people need it to look like it is the biggest investment of their life. As you can see, I'm in a circle. It starts here and it ends there. And how do you know where it starts and ends? Because there's a clear boundary, there's a clear border, there's a clear property line right here. And your backyard needs to be the same way. It needs to be clear and cut. No one wants to know, oh, does my backyard start there? Does it end there? If you've got a jungle in your backyard, put a fence up. That way the buyer knows what's their property and what's not, and they're not questioning it, and they're not getting in arguments with the neighbor, they're not getting in lawsuits, they're not doing any of this. And also, if you're in a HOA, it's a way to avoid violations. That's just a fine waiting to happen. Just maintain your fence. It shows what's your property, what's not, what's your property line. And sometimes your property line is bigger than you think, but when you actually map it out, it surprises you. I'm Lewis, aka London, and this was 10 things you can do to sell your property. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and fill out the contact form on my website to work with me.